Welcome back to Best Ball Summer. We are in middle of August, and this is the DraftKings Draft Room. I'm not here solo. I'm here with one of the biggest names, the one who's pressuring me this morning. Let's jump in a 555. We don't need a draft with all of those peasants in the $20. We're trying to raise our game, raise the stakes. Mr. Adam Levitan, welcome to the DK Draft Room.
Time is of the essence this time of year. My schedule is booked from morning until night. And so if I'm going to take an hour here, we're going to try to make some real money. If we think our expectation is somewhere between 10 and 20%, well, in the $20, we're talking about a $2 worth of EV. So I said, let's get into 555, try to make some real money out here today. And yeah, looks like we got this filled. I see Dan Zach, Pepper Prince is in the house. Dave Arago from our team is in the house. Shady Advice. Of course, we know Jace Rob and Fate Bender is a regular. So is Who's Your Alum in these games. So should be a really good draft here. This is 555 buying $1 million to first really big tournament here on DraftKings each year that I try to win each year. And
I mean, hey, I love your confidence, 10 and 20% ROI, but then you're counting, we're streaming it. We're putting out tweets. We're putting out messages to the high stakes chats. I don't know what edge you're seeing here, but hey, at least we're in the middle. We got pick 7, one of my favorites this year. I'm feeling pretty good. But before we jump in too far, download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app now to draft your $20 best ball lineup or a 555 if you want. Play for a share of $15 million and get a second ticket to play for free for a share of $15 million. That's 2 chances to win big without ever setting your lineup again. Draft one, get one only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Thank you, DraftKings partners. All right, this is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, I'll just say you said, where does the edge come from when we're obviously, put this out on Twitter and there's a lot of regs and everything. I think the edge comes from being able to evaluate changing news better, faster than everyone else. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, that's like what I'm trying to do and try to help people with. We made a ton of moves today. Hopefully you guys changed the check the change log, but things around Chris Godwin, things around Brandon Ayuk, things around Titans wide receiver, Commanders running back, we made an adjustment today. Giants running back, we made an adjustment. The Rashee Rice stuff, we made an adjustment. Texans running back, we made some more adjustments too. And so we're constantly making these adjustments. And I do think that's where this time of year, like the stone cold biggest edge is, can you adjust to news better than other regs? So yeah.
Yeah. I've had a few people ask me hey, when's your favorite time to draft? Also, how does now compare to the previous months? I think if you're trying to get as nitpicky as possible, I think my favorite time to draft is probably Sunday, Monday in a few coming up, where we have 2 weeks of preseason. We have actual games. We've got a lot of the training camp stuff. You don't actually learn much in that third preseason game with regards to the starters. I think almost all the information, not accounting for some last minute injury stuff, is out there. And so that's where it's I think I have everything I can from an actual usage, who's playing with the ones, what the year is going to start off looking like. So that's where I'd say, but right now we're pretty close to that as well. This is where I feel the people who are on a Thursday at 2:08 p.m. watching best ball are the ones who are clued in enough, paying attention to the ETR change log, getting that value.
Yeah, for sure. And Herzig has uploaded our latest rankings push here to the site. So to DraftKings. So yeah, we are ready to rock here. These middle picks, I know a lot of people like these middle picks. I feel like I do as well. When it comes back to you in round 2, you can get into some tricky-ish spots if you don't want to take Bowers, which we can talk about, if you don't want to take Ladd McConkey anymore because the Keenan Allen signing. But yeah, coming up here at 7 is typically a wide receiver spot for me, Herzig.
So is it Jefferson Falls? If it's not, this is what Dink and I talked to. I normally would go McCaffrey because I have confidence that you can still get stronger wide receivers later on. And there's not any wide receiver that's really differentiating among this group. So Jefferson does go. My lean would be McCaffrey. What do you think?
Yeah, I usually go wide receiver here just because I like reaching a bit for the Chase Brown Bucky tier, but I'm totally fine going McCaffrey if you like those wide receivers that come back. It's going to be either Ladd or AJ Brown.
Yeah, for me, the 2v2s, I probably would rather go McCaffrey and AJ Brown than whichever wide receiver here and Chase or Bucky. I'm gonna grab the McCaffrey. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, it depends honestly how you feel about McConkey and AJ Brown. I think if the Eagles are forced to throw more this year, AJ Brown's going to go nuts. Just go absolutely nuts. But in outcomes like we had last year, it could be a little bit more frustrating there. And so I more often in that 7 spot go either Nico. I used to go Puka, not really anymore with the Stafford stuff, but Nico or Amon Ra, and then try to bring it back with a little bit of a reach. I feel like for the Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Jacobs, JT, whatever you prefer out of that kind of cluster of running back there. But it's an interesting 2v2 for sure.
Yeah. And so we mentioned the Bowers. Let's say Bowers falls to us at 18. You then have running back, tight end, which like in a vacuum isn't that bad, but not going any wide receivers with their first 2 picks does feel a little rough. You can make up for it, but it feels a little rough. Is that a game breaker? Like, how do you kind of deal with the Bowers if you,
On underdog, I'm fine with running back tight end starts if you want to, even though I don't take elite tight end there as much. I'm more fine with running back starts. On DraftKings, I hate getting behind at wide receiver. And that's another reason why I, usually go wide receiver there. In round 1, I could start wide receiver Bowers and then try to fill it in. But some of the wide receiver picks that we really like in this room against these people, Egbuka, Golden, Olave, Shaheed, all these guys that I take a lot of normally are probably going to go before I want. But there goes Arrego with the outlier Bowers there at 2.1.
I'm all for giving credit to the room, but you also got to know your room. And sometimes I see a couple of these names and some of these people are a little more RB heavy. So you got to kind of feel it out. And that's one of the nice things about look, we just see 3 straight running backs go there.
Yeah.
With these 5-5-5s and the higher stakes, you can actually start getting a feel for player tendencies because there's a lot of the same people drafting again and again.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so one more pick before us, but we have the Drake London, AJ Brown, Ladd McConkey, if we want to take our wide receiver.
Yeah, I have no problem with Drake London over AJ Brown. I consider that really, really close. We have it really, really close in rank. I know ADP prefers Drake London. I think with the Keenan stuff, I probably prefer London or AJ Brown over Ladd, but I don't want to say bad things about Ladd for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think with this AJ Brown too, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, but with AJ Brown, we're giving ourselves just a lot of upside in these 2 picks because if you look at our projections, we heard from Leone and Gretsch in their kind of podcast series where they talk about projections, both would basically have Christian McCaffrey as number 1 overall pick if you weren't accounting for the injuries. So if McCaffrey can stay healthy, we know he has that upside. And then with the AJ Brown, you have that double contingency value for one, what if, Devontae Smith gets hurt? Now you just have a lot more concentration, a lot more volume. Or if the defense isn't as good and the Eagles just have to throw a lot more, you have that contingency. You're getting a lot of upside, even if it's not the median outcome as much as a Drake London.
Yeah, I hear you for sure. One last thing on McCaffrey, everyone just assumes he has to stay healthy to finish as number 1. He also has to still be as good as he used to be, right? What if the injuries have sapped a little bit of his explosiveness and efficiency? So that's also in the back of my mind on McCaffrey. I still take him. I still like him, but I just wanted to note that it's not just staying healthy. He also still has to be an incredible per touch player, which I think he'll be, but I don't know for sure after age and workload injuries.
Yeah. And I will say, in my opinion, it is different than a Derrick Henry type bet where Derrick Henry has to, even Saquon Barkley, they need to keep their efficiency in big plays and on the ground, where McCaffrey, if he loses some juice, we still expect him to get that receiving work. So on a site like PPR, like DraftKings, for him to retain that, points per a touch that he's so good at least he's getting that head start because we still expect him to be catching those, 4 to 5 catches per a game.
Yeah. Little surprised there's been so much Tyreek Hill bad vibes lately. I've been passing on Tyreek Hill in that spot. I just don't like having the 1 because when it gets back to you here at 24, I do not like what's on the board. And starting with the Chase T double is just so common. And I don't love reaching for Burrow above our rank. So I do not like having the 1 pick on DraftKings specifically. And yeah, this start Chase, Tyreek, Marvin is I love Chase obviously, but it's just a tough spot to pick from 1, I think.
I think you got to take Josh Jacobs there.
Yeah, me too.
So the reason why I've liked one previously in the year is because I could get a differentiated Jamar team, because as you say, so many people will go Jamar Chase and T Higgins. So many people are pulling up the Joe Burrow. For me, I'm just saying I go Jamar Chase, and ideally I was double tapping the running backs, grabbing the Bucky, the Jacobs, the Chase Brown. Now it's a little harder to get those Chase Brown, Bucky. I'm still taking the Josh Jacobs there, but yeah, I don't know what my other pick would have been besides, because I don't want Tyreek and I don't want T there, and I don't like Marvin, and yeah.
Yeah, it's a really tough spot. So coming up to us, I sometimes take Lamar Jackson here, but given that we have AJ Brown, if we wanted to go elite QB, I'd rather go Jalen Hurts. So it would not be Lamar Jackson here for me. JSN, I think is solid, as is Kittle. Any more thoughts on this one? Oh, and Devonta Adams. If you feel good about Matthew Stafford, I'd consider Devonta Adams as well.
I don't. I want to really be in on Devontae Adams, but I'm just not. One thing I'd say for the JSN that makes this a better bet for me is in 555, I want to more prioritize the regular season than I am in BBM or the $20 DK Millie, where it's so much harder in the playoffs. Here, the hardest part is pretty much, I don't remember the exact advance rate. We can take a look at it, but it's usually something like 2 out of 12 for your first one. And then each round after that is not much more difficult than 2 out of 12, if not like 1 out of 6, the same ratio. Yeah. So here, someone like JSN, my main concern about him is, I mean, there's obviously offensive risks and offensive line, all that, but like the Sam Darnold potential benching risk as we get to the playoffs, yeah, it's still relevant, but it's not as big of a deal in this format, where I want to put a little more emphasis on just getting to the playoffs in a 5-5 structure. So yeah. JSN.
Yes. Yeah. JSN, I think, will continue to be short area target, but on full PPR, I prefer JSN. I don't love taking him in half PPR, but full PPR, I think JSN fits much, much better in that format.
Okay, let's talk about this Jalen Hurts. Because highly unlikely someone takes him before us. If we did want him, he's right here. ADP's 43.5. Highly unlikely he would fall back to us in the 5th, because the Devontae Smith is just so easy to kind of go with a 1-2 stack there.
Yeah, I'm okay on DraftKings. I don't think correlation is as important. I don't have to force it. If there's a position player that we prefer at 42, I would lean position player. I do not think correlation on DraftKings is as important as it is on Underdog. And also, like, there's so many quarterbacks I like. When you get to that range on DraftKings between like 95 and 120, I want to be in a position to hammer quarterback. If I take Hurts, I don't feel as good about that. So, if Hurts is the best player available, that's fine. But if there's a running back, wide receiver, tight end we prefer at 42, that's definitely fine by me.
Cool. I feel good with that. Let's take a quick recap of what we have in this draft right now. So in the 3 spot, we've got running back, with an elite QB.
Yeah.
Shady advice over here with 3 straight running backs. Hoosier with 2 out of 3 running backs. Young Buck with 2 as well. So you have some, 3 teams that don't have a running back, 2 teams that don't have a wide receiver.
It's and Fate Bender is a reg I've drafted against him a lot. That's not necessarily how all his teams normally look. That's like if I was drafting 1 team or 2 teams or 5 teams, that's not the way I would start. But I think if you're drafting 100 or 150, mixing in some of those starts, I guess is okay.
Yeah, just different ways to kind of think through it, and then as we get on, kind of to think through how it impacts our strategy going forward.
Pickens just keeps going higher and higher.
Yeah. All right, Breece Hall is going to be at the top of the queue. He's obviously a lot of different thoughts on that, even within the ETR group.
Yeah.
James Cook rose up a little.
Yeah.
Or
given that we started CMC, I think pass on Breece, considering we started CMC personally. What do you think about the Eagles double?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is where, like, I don't have a player that I absolutely love. So I'm perfectly good with the Jalen Hurts, and we'll see if Devontae Smith falls back to us.
Yeah, I doubt he will. Did Jameson go?
Most likely not, but his ADP is 53.8. We're 55.
Yeah.
Jameson's down here. We got like 5 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I'm fine with Hurts if nothing stands out. When our next 2 picks are going to be prime wide receiver ranges to get really good wide receiver. Even if it's not Devontae, there's usually some really good wide receivers that fall there. I will say, like, if you want Pickens If you want Jamison Williams in these rooms, you have to take them ahead of ADP. Like those are two guys that I like a lot and actually are two of my most owned players, but they go in tougher rooms, they go ahead of ADP for sure.
Yeah. So Jamison Williams didn't have a single game last year with more than 5 receptions. And like, I don't know, like, is he a DraftKings pick? Like, I have trouble with him on DraftKings because even this, like, the coach speak for me is more of like a talent and what he's able to do in the role they're giving him than that he's going to get this new high volume role in that offense. I like him, but I definitely don't love him. Like on DraftKings versus like a PPR site.
I think of it more like, he does not a great fit for the scoring system, but when I need 30-point games in the playoffs, like very few guys can get that, and he can from like the 5th round, you know? So it's like, I think he has more 30-point games in him than DJ Moore does, for example. So from a median output though, for sure on DraftKings, like DJ Moore is a better pick.
Yeah, just looking through these. And I think, where did DJ Moore goes here at 46. One spot, still going with a true 0 RB team. Grabs Jaden Daniels.
Love it.
For people who've been drafted on DraftKings, you'll notice like the Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin has actually become possible to get in this. Like,
I've done it. Yeah. And I don't even love it. And I've done it, you know, because it's really late when you get it there at that like 47, 50 and stuff like that.
It feels good when like I was excited to be getting it at the 3-4 earlier before like the contract stuff. And so now that you're getting 4-5, and I mean, it's not like you're going to get that pairing at a cheaper discount later, because even if we have Terry McLaurin concerns, it have to be pretty crazy for him to fall all the way back to like the 6-7 turn. Like that would have to be, I don't know, crazy contract news. Yeah.
Let's see what we got at wide receiver here.
All right.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle, Zay Flowers, Travis Hunter.
So I have a ton of Calvin Ridley, and this was like before the preseason game where he looked really good and everything, but I have a ton of Calvin Ridley. I also like Waddle. I also like Flowers, and I've been getting more Travis Hunter lately. So that any of those 3 would be fine by me. Zay, Hunter, or Ridley. It would be Zay or Ridley for me. I take Hunter on teams where I've already am kind of more loaded at wide receiver.
Okay. So
I don't want to go Ridley or Zay for me.
Yeah. We do have Jalen Hurts, so I'm not concerned about like if we like forcing a stack later on. I'm good with the Calvin Ridley. I think a Jalen Hurts, Cam Ward is like the right level of capital, and you could even grab a third one too. Good with Ridley?
Yes.
Okay.
And on DraftKings, like that's why it's like awkward for me to go elite quarterback, is I typically want to have 3 quarterbacks, because in the playoffs, like you want 3 different stacks to have a chance to go off. And so elite quarterback to me is like not really as good on DraftKings as I want to take 3. Not only can you take 3 in a 20-round draft, I actually want to take 3. So I try to go elite quarterback more infrequently there on DraftKings for sure. Like if Pickens was there, I probably would have gone Pickens over Jalen Hurts, and that's how I end up with, up to my freaking neck in Pickens stuff. But
right. I think that's fair. Now I will say for the 5-5-5, that 3 QB in the playoffs to really get those elite, performances isn't as important to me. Because I really should go look at the structure, but I remember in the past it's been like 1 out of 6 or 1 out of 7.
Oh yeah, I can get it. Yeah.
Well, I'll let you go for it. But when you compare to other sites, like I think the DK Millie, it's 1 out of 12, 1 out of 12, and then the final is like 1,100 people. Or the Best Ball Mania is like 1 out of 16, 1 out of 16, something like that. And then 500 person final.
Yeah. This is two out of 12, and then 2 out of 8, and then 1 out of 8, and then a 52 person final.
Okay. So like that second round, 2 out of 8, that's 25%. Yeah. I mean, it's harder to advance in your league than that second round. That's where you want to put a little more emphasis here. And then 50 is not that crazy. You do want stacks, but
yeah. You see Egbuka going at 59 before Travis Hunter there to Dan Zach. Egbuka's team is coming hard, and he got Rashee Rice news there discount as well.
He's got the Mike Evans early on too, so making a anti-Godwin bet,
Yep.
which, given the news this morning, might be smart. Okay, coming back around to us, we mentioned that we still like the wide receivers in the range. I agree. We are sitting on our QB, running back, and 3 wide receivers.
Yeah.
We are up next.
I take a lot of Jacoby Myers as like a better best ball than redraft play. I also take a lot of Olave, even though the ADP is way down there. But yeah, and I'm okay with Pearsall. I don't know if Pearsall went, but even though we don't have him ranked very well, I like Pearsall as well.
Okay, so I think Jacoby's already went.
Okay.
We are now up. Pearsall just
Pearsall
went. So Olave, Judy, Odunze, Jennings, Diggs,
Golden.
Yeah.
I typically go Olave here, but it's way ahead of ADP and
not Judy. Flacco positive.
Yeah, fine. God, freaking Browns.
Judy or Olave? Rome. Give me one of them.
Olave.
Okay. No, actually, you know what? That's a better choice. I like that decision because there's a little more Tyler Shuck momentum. He's not, no one's really fighting for him. So if we wanted to make this a 3 QB team, we could grab like a Cam Ward and a Tyler Shuck, and I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. And maybe I don't get much Odunze. Like, maybe I should start mixing in more Odunze. I think I've just been, if you've listened to, like, we've talked a lot on the pod with Silva about the vibes around the Bears right now, which just do not seem great. But yeah, I should probably be mixing in Odunze over Olave some there. But you see what happens with this camp news. I mean, 2 weeks ago, you could have gotten Egbuka and Pearsall where we were, like, easily.
Oh my gosh. I mean, a day or two before that, you could have gotten Egbuka in the 8th round. And yeah. All right. To our left, we have a Lamar and Joe Burrow. Burrow with Chase Brown, Lamar by himself. When you start seeing this, no big deal, but if you start seeing something else, you can start seeing like a bit of a QB, rush going. So it's good to have our elite one, but still need to keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I mean, that QB range on DraftKings, again, between 95 and 120 is so strong. The Dak, Fields, Herbert, Drake May, I'm like hammering quarterback through there. And I think that's probably where a lot of these teams are going to go if they somebody took Lamar and Burrow. Wow.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah, here at 79, like I think we have a strong enough wide receiver room to take Jordan Addison ahead of ADP if we wanted to. One of my kind of more favorite players. And once you already have 4 strong wide receivers, like, you can take Addison, who's suspended for the first 3 games. Did Matthew Golden go yet?
Golden has not gone yet.
I'm sure that he will. I'm sure that he will go.
Judy, Golden, Addison, and then I feel like there's a bit of a teardrop. Definitely. Yeah, went with these injuries that have started to pop up on the Jaden Marine, the Chris Godwin, the Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, Laporta went, right? Oh, Laporta
just goes now. Although Laporta has that injury news from this morning.
Hawkinson did not go yet, correct?
Hawkinson did go. There goes Golden.
Okay. Yeah, so like Addison or running back, I think.
Demont is the best running back, which I'm pretty content with.
Sure.
I'll put him in the queue. Wide receiver, you've got Addison.
Yeah.
I think if Demont falls to us, that's a solid RB2 for us.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of running back bets that I like to make between like 120 and 160, but those are the kind of bets that I made last year, and there was no chaos in the running back position, and all those picks turned out to be like stone cold zero. So I don't want to overreact. I'm still leaning into chaos in the running back position, but just on our rank alone, I mean, we have Dave Montgomery 14 spots ahead of Addison here.
Yeah, I think rank plus ADP, we're getting a round plus of value on each of those. Just feels like the right play there. Also, position of need. So for draft assistant, definitely pushing for it as well. Everything aligned there to make sense for Dave Montgomery.
Before we move on here, Herzig, I should remind the people, if you are serious about fantasy football, be sure to check out the ETR draft kit. We have tons of virgins grinding 24/7 to make sure our rankings are the best they can possibly be, factoring everything: news, suspensions, injuries, depth charts, positional scarcity, ADP, everything else. So pick that up, $49.99. If you need the best ball product, that is a separate product. You can check that out at establishthorun.com also. There goes
Okay.
Jordan Addison went there. A little, yeah, Josh Downs.
Addison Downs. It does feel like coming into this 8th round, it used to be a really solid wide receiver spot. Now it's a lot of wide receivers with some injuries. So it's, are you catching a falling knife? Are you getting the value? It's hard to truly know.
Yeah. I mean, Jaden Reed is week to week right now. He has not gone yet. Khalil Shakir is week to week right now. He is not gone yet. And then once you get past that, I like Shaheed and I like Mooney, but it starts to get real thin at wide receiver. I guess you could pull Marvin Mims into that Shaheed Mooney range now if you believe the preseason week 1 usage. We can talk about that. But yeah, it starts to thin out at wide receiver quickly on DraftKings for sure.
Yeah. Running. Actually, it's interesting. The past majority of drafting season around this 9th, 8th, 9th, I've been heavily wide receiver because there were guys that I liked in there. Then I was the end of the tier in my mind. There's now been some running backs that I feel a little more confident in that have kind of been moving up too. Not to say we want to grab one here, but
yeah,
Mason,
Tracy, and ETN are 3 that I think are fine here if you needed running back. And that might have been why Addison over Montgomery might have been a little bit preferred for me. But yeah, do you want to take another running back here? Or we can take Shakir or Jaden Reed, the hurt guys.
I mean, Shakir, all signs look pretty positive he'll be there week 1. Jaden Reed with the boot, we just really don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I question the ceiling on Shakir, but I do think we need to probably get wide receiver here.
Do we want to do for the upside for Jaden Reed? He's our 5th wide receiver.
No, I think Shakir is probably better.
Okay.
Shakir's had this ankle injury before. The McDermott said that they think he'll be okay for week 1, and this is one of the better prices you're going to get on Shakir here at 90, I think.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, the Jaden Reed, the fact that the walking boot kind of came out of nowhere and it's not the same, toe injury from before that we were hearing about. So I think I personally kind of learned, I don't know if I learned my lesson. Maybe at least I accept there's a possibility that I learned my lesson last year. Just all these Q tags and out tags. And I just kept thinking, hey, this is good value. This is good value. And then turns out these injuries just kind of lingered into the season. And we're starting to see that now with Jaden Reed, Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say it, but even Malik Neighbors, there's starting to be some concern. These are the ones that I need to figure out how much am I just saying, hey, I'm happy to accept the value and the overreaction by people, or is that reaction actually warranted and I'm the fish?
For sure. Oh, yeah. I mean, Shakir could aggravate, but I feel pretty good about Shakir being out there early in the season, if not week 1. And same thing with Jaden Reed. It's just you're taking on extra risk for sure. I will say that the 2v2, Addison and Jordan Mason, Addison and Jordan Mason or Montgomery and Shakir, I think is, another close 2v2. I probably would have leaned the other way, but just because I like Addison a lot. But yeah, I think it's super close.
Yeah. No, I feel that.
We have no tight end yet. There are a lot of tight ends in this range also that you can take. Tyler Warren already went, but yeah, and you start to see all the quarterbacks go that I like in this range here too.
Okay. I'll put we do have our Jalen Hurts. We can look for stacks, but no QB's really jumping out.
Yeah.
Michael Pittman, Shaheed, we're kind of at the end of a wide receiver tier. If we did want to grab, what would that be? No, we already have 5. That'd be our 6, maybe a little early.
Yeah.
Tight ends, Evan Ingram, David Njoku, Loveland.
Yeah. And we need to get Goddard, if we can on on our whatever round that is, 2 rounds from now.
Yeah, Goddard's 133. We can probably get him at 127.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is very late for Evan Ingram. I think Shaheed's one of my favorite plays, but we already have Olave. Do we really want a Saints double? I don't take much Ingram, but this is really late or reasonably late for him, and we don't have a tight end. So it's a
Any
decent,
argument on Dobbins over Ingram?
we're probably end up with our top tight end is Goddard, which I don't love. So I think probably Ingram. I will say that, I don't think Evan Ingram is like any kind of star, and historically been a guy that needs volume to put up fantasy numbers. I'm not sure he's going to see that in kind of rotational thing, but yeah.
He's not a guy that I haven't been getting too much of in the preseason, whatever. I don't know. He hasn't really been shining, or at least just not getting the reports. It's not that there's anything bad. It's just like you haven't heard much. And I don't know, like for a new tight end joining a new system with a coach that loves to rotate his personnel and has a history of like, I guess Jimmy Graham was awesome, but every tight end after that for Peyton was bad. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't love it, but I agree. We got a round of value for a position of need.
Yeah. I have like 8%, 7% Ingram right now, which is actually more than I thought that I had originally.
You probably just like this area to be grabbing tight ends. So you probably have more in that area. Yeah.
I don't love it. I bet it's all super late. But I just want to note Orrego with Tracy at 85. Like, I like that. I think he's going to start going in that range there. Will Tyrone Tracy, and maybe even higher. Yeah.
He and ETN are the two that like are in this, we're in that 9th that I think are now moving to 8th that I think are perfectly fine picks. I'm personally, I think like ETN's a pretty strong bet right now, especially for this format.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess my point, one more point on elite tight end is like when you're in this range here and it's like, God, I guess I'll take Ingram, God, I guess I'll take whoever. It's like, man, there's so many quarterbacks that I like in this range. Somebody just got Kyler Murray at 106. You know what I mean? Like if you don't take elite quarterback, there is so much through here when the other positions are weak. So
yeah. Also, like Dave goes first running back in rounds. Both Dave, the 1s and the 12s, didn't take a running back in the first 5, and then 4 out of the next 5, 4 out of the next 4. So if you're going to do 0 RB, you can do it in any format, but that's where you want to be going, just hammering in these potentially undervalued, less sexy names.
Yeah. And I like the guys that Orrego got for sure. Dobbins, Charbonnet, Tracy, and Connor.
All right, 3 more picks for us. We are sitting on our 1, 2, 5, 1 McCaffrey, Demont running backs. Jalen Hurts, Ingram as the tight ends. No, those 5 wide receivers. 2 more picks for us.
Yeah. So if you think Moondog is going to play week 1, Moondog would for sure be the pick for me here. It's hard for me to get a read on it. I think he's going to be fine, but they're calling him week to week right now. I know we already have 5, but it's not a great running back range. I would be fine with Loveland too if you want to back it up with another. Oh, there goes Mooney.
Okay.
The problem with Loveland is we're going to end up with Loveland and Goddard. So I don't know that we want to spend 3.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is ugly.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go Caleb backdoors, but yeah, you can go Loveland into Goddard. I mean, it's not great.
All right. We grab Loveland. I think we now maybe don't need to reach on Goddard here at 127 and hope he falls to us. And if he doesn't, we still have the Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown stack. So like, it's not the worst thing to miss out on Goddard. But
yeah. Again, this range is just all quarterbacks. Like I like McCarthy, I like May, and we had to pass on them for Loveland because we have Hurts. And it's just another argument against elite quarterback on DraftKings.
Yeah, and like you were talking about 2B2 earlier, really the 2B2 could have been, instead of Hurts here, we would have grabbed one of those wide receivers.
Yeah.
Or a running back, maybe James Cook. And then you're saying like, okay, we would have, if we grabbed a running back there, we're almost assuredly grabbing the Addison here because now we're setting up for our QB stacks as well. Yeah. And this is now our JJ McCarthy.
Right. You could have had, McCarthy, Cam Ward, and I don't know, Purdy or whatever, something along those lines.
Yeah. Instead of Shakir, we're probably grabbing Jaden Reed here. And now we're setting up for Jordan Love at 127. It's just a very different draft when you're setting up for these later stacks than when you take the Jalen Hurts. But we could still, grab a Darnold, Cam Ward, Tyler Shock, like 2 of those 3.
Yep.
and ideally not Chuck, but worst case, if you're taking him in the 20th, not horrible.
Yeah, so there's some reaches here that I could make a case for at running back, if we wanted to. The two that come to mind to reach at running back for would be the two rookies, Jaden Blue and Bishal Tootin. There's been some light rumors around Tank Bigsby trades lately, which would obviously be huge for Tootin. And then on the Jaden Blue side, it's just,
I think Jaden Blue was already drafted.
oh my God, really?
Oh, I don't see him. Yeah, 119 right here.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, that's certainly high for a guy who's been hurt in camp, but yeah, I don't think that the outlook for Tootin and Blue is all that different now, even though Bigsby and ETN are really good players, or at least NFL caliber players. But it would be a pretty big reach there on Tootin. He's 153 ADP, but yeah. And I'm fine with Ramondre also. Like, it's just boring, but whatever.
Okay. Christian Kirk is the wide receiver.
Yeah.
There's that Goddard there.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna be able to get one of these running backs the next. If we did want to say, let's just grab our Goddard.
Sure. It's a lot of draft capital at tight end. Look at what the assistant's gonna say. The solver assistant's gonna say about our.
I didn't do it. I took.
Oh, you went Samson.
I went Samson. We did. Okay. Thought on Samson. Back past 2 days, he's running with the ones. The more this Quinshon Judkins just doesn't play out, the more likely Dylan Sampson actually wins that job. Far more upside than Ramondre Stevenson playing with the Travion Henderson. And I think what you were saying is very correct around the draft capital. And I love these 19th and 20th round tight ends, and we completely box ourselves out of one if we're grabbing Goddard there.
Exactly. And I'm always thinking about that. Like, what am I going to do in my last 2 rounds? Well, a lot of the best picks in the last 2 rounds are tight ends. So I try not to get 3 here and spend so much draft capital on it. But yeah, we got ourselves into a bit of a pickle here for sure.
Because now if Goddard falls as a 138, it's like we're getting some value at least. And yeah, we're giving up our flexibility in the later rounds, but we're getting our stack at not a reach.
Yeah. I also would have been fine with Christian Kirk there. Like, I know we already have 5 wide receivers, but both Silva and Daigle, I did a show with them today that'll be out probably Friday, Saturday, something like that. But both of them are really in on Christian Kirk. I would have been okay with that also.
I think you could have convinced me for that one by just saying that name. I've already gotten a lot of flack for drafting Christian Kirk on this stream, so if somebody else is going to be the one to push it, I'd be more than happy.
I hate not being on the sticks. Oh yes, thank you.
I was gonna say the auction, always a great one. Really enjoy that format, and yeah, you get so many questions as follow-ups too. But just wanted to give a shout out. Kyle mentioned as well, but that auction podcast and the ETR channel, highly recommend if you've got an auction league.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I kind of think we should reach. God, it just looks so bad. But I kind of think we should reach a little bit for Tootin. But it's hard to pass on Goddard past ADP stacked. It's just 3 tight ends before round 12 is over is just not the way I like to play.
At least it's DraftKings.
Yeah.
I kind of think about it this way. If you take your tight end here, it's kind of worth like 2 late round running back picks later.
Yeah. The problem is a lot of these running backs that I like that used to go around 19 and 20, you're talking about, oh, well, Tootin goes before us. He's listening. Shambles. Shout out to you.
We're in Shambles that, that makes this easy.
Yeah.
This is quite a gap, 10 to 7.2. This is really saying don't F this up.
Yeah. I will say, like, a lot of the running back flyers that I used to take in round 20 are now going much earlier, right? So, like, I remember I did a stream with you, one of our first streams, we took Sean Tucker round 20. Now he goes, round 16, round 17, sometimes round 18. Krosky Merritt, people are like falling all over themselves to draft in like round 14 or 15. He used to go in round 20. So I do think the round 20 running backs are getting, worse and worse.
We don't want to, we know we're streaming. We're not going to blow our load too early on this one, but there's still a couple that I think if we can outsmart. But no, I agree with you. In general, they're definitely gotten up a lot more.
Yeah, and there's some wide receiver flyers which I don't normally like, but we made an adjustment on Titans wide receiver today in the ranks, and we can talk about some other ones that I think are more interesting than wide receiver in round 19 and 20 used to be, I guess I would say.
All right, taking a look at other teams right now. No one. Okay, 1-3 QB. Oh wow, the Lamar Burrow grabbed McCarthy.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. No other 3 QBs. No other 3 tight ends besides us. Pretty mostly pretty competent room. Look at that, Braylon Allen jumping up to 143.
Yeah. Not surprised at all. It's been relentless hype. And I mentioned on the podcast that like a lot of it was coming from The Athletic. Now Rich Cimini from ESPN is also joining the train and saying Braylon Allen, he thinks Braylon Allen's going to have a big role this year for the Jets. So, yeah. Me and Silva talked a bunch about Braylon yesterday. If you guys listened to the news show 2 days ago, maybe.
That was a good one. Cam Ward should be right. Nope, Cam Ward's gone.
Oh no. What about
Cam Ward, 144 here. It's always interesting when someone reaches on Cam Ward because we're the only one who's drafted a pass catching Titan. He doesn't even have the Tajay or the Pollard. Interesting.
Yeah. I'm okay just like trying to get Darnold.
All right. So I think we should be able to take him at 162 pretty easily. 165, not easily, but
I mean, quarterbacks go fast because so many people want 3 and they're like, you know what? There's a finite amount. I better just go get him,
This right here as well. Cooper Kupp, pick 160.
We could take Darnold here if there's no one else you like. I can't really see the board.
Yep. We are up next. Running backs: Rachaad White, Tyler Algier, Austin Eckler.
I don't think we can really risk losing out on Darnold because otherwise we're down to like Shuck, right? I mean,
okay.
I mean, I don't think we can. Even though I don't really love Darnold, but we can't really risk not getting him. I think
that's right. Yeah. I think the other players, like the 2v2 of who we're missing out on by not grabbing Darnold, isn't that much different than like if we go the running back here, wide receiver, vice versa.
Yeah. So, I mean, the problem is like I ideally want to have 3. I can be okay with 2, but if we don't take Darnold, we're definitely not getting 3, and even the second one's going to be super, super weak.
Yeah, and it's only 2 people. Actually, 3 people have 3 QBs right now. We talked about this. Hoosier here with May Tuagino. RCH bar goes Jaden Daniels. Yeah, Cam Ward, just interesting. 3rd QB unstacked to go with the Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert.
Yeah, Young Buck only has 1 quarterback. I mean, he's got to get it, and it's only Goff. I mean, he's got to get on it at quarterback also.
Yeah, he just grabs A-Rich there. Goff and A-Rich, that's rough. Could see him grabbing Stafford. Does he have? Oh, he has. Nope. Yeah, he has Kyron. So I could see the Stafford at 1. Nope. Stafford goes right there. Wow. Yeah. This is where that you can wait on QBs, but you can't wait too long on DraftKings.
Yeah, exactly. And like you have to take these guys ahead of ADP, and it's like a hard thing to like get into the assistant and everything, but like yeah, you don't have really a choice.
Which is also why if you can get like your 2 or 3 in this mid-range, like looking and seeing that like CJ Stroud goes 2 rounds before Darnold, like that feels like that gap should be wider, but that's because Stroud's going about where he should. And Darnold, A-Rich, Stafford, Rodgers all are getting pulled up because people want that 3rd QB.
100%. Has Jalen McMillan gone yet?
No.
Yeah, I mean, given the Godwin stuff, I think that's at least interesting. Josh Palmer just went, which I thought was interesting as well. In that range, has Marquise Brown gone yet?
Yes, he has. So McMillan here, still have Dobbs, Tillman. Running backs, I wouldn't hate. We only have 3 running backs. I wouldn't hate grabbing one of these running backs. we're starting to get a bit of a teardrop to.
Yeah, I have tons of Algier. There's a guy later that I've been taking a ton of that in a round or two I can bring up.
Okay. I have a feeling we'll probably end up with 6 of them based off where we were.
I do want to say on the Krosky Merritt stuff, I think Krosky Merritt's a bigger threat to Brian Robinson than Austin Eckler, for what it's worth. Yeah. So
100% agree.
I'm okay with Eckler. I prefer Algier personally, but do you have a preference there between Algier and Eckler? Algier just went, so
yeah, Algier definitely has a lot more upside. Eckler probably has a higher median projection on DraftKings. So I think
go ahead.
I'd probably just split my portfolio between those two.
The way I think about it is I prefer Algier because, like, what outcome does Austin Eckler just go nuts and win me the week? I can't really see it. No matter what happens to B-Rob, like, they're going to play other guys. They're going to play Krosky Merritt. But if something happens to Bijan, like, Algier could actually win you this thing. You know what I mean? Like, he could actually win it for you with like 30-point games in place of Bijan. So I prefer Algier, but yeah, from a median, like, week to week perspective, Eckler's probably better.
Yeah, I think for me with Algier, I'm just not 100% sure. Like, he's never been a pass catcher. And so on DraftKings, you want that. Look here. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
Even like here, I don't know if I'm assuming Bijan missed this game, but he had 18 carries, 105 yards, but only 1 reception, 1 target. This little more of a shootout, gets 3. So that's where I don't think we can just like plug and place Algier for Bijan if there's the injury.
But I love that you switched your pronunciation of Bijan's name. Well done.
I feel like it's like the mustard, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so there's another running back here that I probably would take ahead of ADP to get us there, but
I think I know who you're talking about. Does it fit well specifically with this team?
Who are our quarterbacks again? Hurts and Darnold.
Yeah, so we're not thinking the same person then.
No, it doesn't. The other thing about tight end is, like, I like some of these guys back through here, and that's why I try not to take 3 this early. There's Chig Okonkwo. There's Hunter Henry. Likely he's been dropping a lot. I take a decent amount of Cade Otton. So, like, it's not ideal. And there goes Krosky Merritt at 167. I mean, steam is just out of control on this kid.
Also, much better pick, as you alluded to, on a half PPR site than on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Same with Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson, my fade candidate on our ETR fades and sleepers.
Oh, nice.
He's a jag. He finished, I think I pulled up a few different stats like explosive rate and all that, and he was like 29th, 30th, 32nd in the league. Like, he is definition of jag and not catching passes.
Yeah. So what wide receivers are here at 175? I'm trying to see.
Yeah, Wandale, Pierce.
No, I know, it's so brutal. I can't, and I feel like we're like not behind at wide receiver, but I don't feel great about them. And that when I like my teams on DraftKings, it's always like, oh man, my wide receivers are just loaded. I have 6 or 7 ones that I love, and yeah, I would like to get more wide receivers here. Just this range is brutal. I don't know if I can face Wandale. The running back that I take a ton of is Woody Marks on DraftKings. Okay. Caught 250 plus passes in college in 5 seasons. If you think that Joe Mixon is in big trouble, as I do, and Nick Chubb is dust, as I do, then to me, Woody Marks is just like a total smash. But yeah, if you wanted to take, who do you have?
I have Wandale. I think I want to take Wandale. Yeah. You look at the gap with the next ones. We do need the position. He did start playing a little more than just slot in the preseason game. It is PPR. There's a lot of running backs where, like, he's the last guy that for sure is playing.
Yeah, that's true. That's totally fair. Yeah, I'm usually so loaded at wide receiver by this point. I don't even consider Wandale. I don't think he's a great fit with Russ Wilson either. But yeah, that's totally fine.
Jackson Dart.
Yeah, we could backdoor into Dart.
We can take a look. Just curiosity, which QBs are available right now, and yeah, we are. Ooh, did Tyler Shuck actually go?
Probably, man. People are desperate. Everybody wants 3. There.
Yeah. Yep. Curious, did he grab Shaheed? Yep, he took the Shaheed too. But honestly, that's where if you do at least take the Jalen Hurts, you feel like Jalen Hurts and Sam Darnold you're okay with, where 2 other QBs you're kind of going for that reach as well.
Yeah.
I do agree. I like to end up with 3 QBs, and maybe we do grab Jackson Dart late, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he might go. Given the way he played in the first preseason game, I don't think you can wait that long if you want Jackson Dart. I mean,
well, based off what you just said, he's definitely going to
go. Yeah, see, Arago's taking him, see?
The guy that I was talking about was Will Shipley, and that's why I was saying correlating with our quarterback. But if you don't draft Saquon Barkley, if you specifically draft Jalen Hurts, there's some correlation aspect where if Saquon does get hurt, Jalen has to throw more. AJ Brown thrives. Will Shipley gets the benefit of the doubt. So that's one where if he was to fall to us, it does not help any of you others. You do not need to draft him, just us, because it helps our team. So just keep drafting your quarterbacks and tight ends. Okay, Dave.
Yeah. Arago goes Marks and Dart. Well done, Dave. Well done. Yeah. No, I like thinking about how Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown go off this year and like how that affects Barkley teams is, I think super interesting.
Can we get an on-brand little right here?
Shout out Dan Zach. Shout out Dan Zach. Four tight end, man. Dan Zach.
I love it with Kyle Pitts too.
He crushed last year though, man. Shout out to Dan.
He did. 2 picks away. Shipley fits so well. Look at all those little badges for us. Roshan there at the top. Shout out Dink.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think Monangai versus Roshan's a real thing or no?
I think it's because Roshan's hurt. You're just getting a lot more kind of seeing of the Monangai. We're
getting sniped left and right.
Oh, that hurts.
I like Roshan or Horton. I mean, Horton can make sense for us. We have Darnold. I don't think Horton's going to get back to us. People are crazy, but
go for one.
I think Horton. I'm just obsessed with wide receivers. Like, what's Roshan going to do for us?
Yeah, no, I agree.
I do think, and by the way, I'm like the last guy that's all about these, late round rookies getting steamed into the freaking 16th round, like Torrey Horton.
Horton's legit.
Horton was somebody that a lot of people liked, and MVS is already getting pushed, and Cooper Kupp could be dust, and we already drafted Sam Darnold. So I like that.
Yeah. Like if we weren't in this draft and not talking about these players, I probably would have waited for him in that next round. But it's, as you're saying, like it's possible he would.
Yeah.
The second you said him out loud, he was definitely getting drafted. But
right.
2 guys in the past 2 rounds: Najee Harris, Quinshon Judkins. I'll start with Najee. I actually think this is decent price on Najee because we're getting to the price where it's like you're kind of just drafting him as a handcuff for if Omarion Hampton gets hurt. And now Najee would actually be pretty strong if he can play. But then there's still that big if, like, he may not play football. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Najee's going to play this year. I don't know when, but I do think he's going to play this year. Judkins may not. And, Mixon may not. I mean, there's a lot of guys that, like, it's real tenuous right now. I will say the Roshan stuff like is real. I mean, Roshan has been working as the goal line back. The beat writers say he's like a lock to be the goal line back. He's getting pushed by Monangai. I think Roshan's going to win that job, but I don't know for sure. If I was 100% sure that Roshan was going to ice Monangai, I would have said Roshan there over Horton.
Right. You also have that Roshan was actually getting reports of like working as third down back. And that's pants off if that's even a possibility. But it's just funny where you get goal line and third down, which would be ridiculously bullish for him. And then also he may not even be on the field because he's a 7th round rookie.
Yeah, he doesn't strike me as like better than DeAndre Swift on pass downs, but
no. But if DeAndre Swift was to go down, just knowing that that's a possibility, like that's where I think you have a bit more of the upside. Yeah. Okay. Roshan, Judkins, Sanders, Brooks all go. Daniel Jones goes.
Has Jalen Knoll gone yet or Dante Thornton?
Pierce, Knoll, Bryant, Coker,
Oh,
De'Ami
yeah,
Brown.
Thornton
I think
went.
Thornton's gone. Nope. Yeah, Thornton's gone.
At running back, if you want Sean Tucker, I think you got to take him here. People are flying him up the board right now with the Rashad White injury.
Where are we at? 4 running backs. Okay, we're on the board. I
Yeah.
think that I'd go Giddens or one of the wide receivers.
Yeah, it would be Tucker or Knoll for me, but
I like
yeah,
Knoll.
if you want to take Giddens, that's fine too. I mean,
No, I like the Jalen Knoll. I was content with that. I think that's a level of upside. It also gives us a 8th wide. Like there might be other wide receivers that we think we're anticipating playing time. Jalen Knoll is one of the few, I think, this late in drafts that, hey, come second half of the season, could actually be legit difference makers.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
happy with that.
yeah, and like I think Knoll's a good player. I don't take Christian Kirk and Knoll on the same team just because I think it's going to be one of them. It's going to be Christian Kirk to start the year, but at the end of the year, it's going to be one of them, Knoll or Kirk.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's one of the few wide receiver positions where it might be a narrative, but it feels very clean based off how Knoll was used in college, how we expect Kirk to be used, that it is like a 1-to-1 replacement, where a lot of the times, even though we feel like a second string wide receiver fits well in that slot or in that X, like coach just move them around. I think this one we can kind of line up like that 1-to-1.
Yeah. Yeah, and we can take if we have an extra spot, right? Normally, my standard build on DraftKings is 3-6-8-3. We have an extra spot because we're only getting 2 quarterbacks here. So, I guess we could take Russ, but it's hard for me to see him lasting the whole year. So we have an extra spot. If we wanted to take one more wide receiver, we could. I guess is my point. I do have some ideas.
Is this so? My natural inclination would be focus on 2 running backs with these next 2, because as you said, like it gets dusty, and we know we want to have 6 running backs. Then with that last pick, we play it by ear. If we have a wide receiver, if we have a QB we like, not a QB we like, a running back, yeah. Unless you have a wide receiver that you feel like is a difference make, yeah.
I do. I'll wait to talk about him later. Coker was one that I've been taking a little bit more of lately. Just think he might be straight up better than Leggett. It's possible. So, Dave just got him very late there.
Yeah. I know we didn't get Cam Ward. I know we do like the wide receiver. We've been making some moves.
Yeah, Giddens. I would have liked to get Giddens here on the way back. We didn't get him. I'm not gonna. Shambles is clear listening, so I'm not gonna say right now.
Shambles has Kittle, Schultz. I wouldn't be surprised with a 3rd tight end here for Shambles.
Yeah, so the 2 running backs that I take here are either Sean Tucker or Marshawn Lloyd. I don't think Rashad White's injury is serious, but Sean Tucker is still 1 injury away. And then Marshawn Lloyd's back in camp and looking good. And like if something were to happen to Josh Jacobs, you could see really big upside for Marshawn Lloyd. Obviously, staying healthy is a concern, but yeah.
Yeah, Marshawn Lloyd's the one that I've been waiting on, that even when you were talking about earlier, that I know there's some guys we like that has not gotten the buzz recently. Even though, the injury is just such a concern, but like when he's healthy, that team just wants his skill set so badly.
Right. I will say about time for Greg Dortch.
I meant to click this one, but that works too.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I forget.
Marshawn Lloyd injury, Packers, Tucker.
No. AD Mitchell was one that I was going to wait to bring up. I have an embarrassing amount of AD Mitchell round 20. I don't take him as much in round 18, but I know it's thin, man, because like he's rotating with Alec Pierce, and they have Pittman, and they have Downs, and they have Warren. I just think AD Mitchell is a good player, and in round 20, I was just like closing my eyes and getting him. It's getting much thinner here in round 18, but supposedly he's just been torching camp.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not upset with the way that we ended up, but this is where like I just like these tight ends so much more than other players available. Like Juwan Johnson, you could no Taysom Hill. He could be the 3rd receiving option, 4th if you include Kamara on that team. Tyler Higbee, Terrence Ferguson got hurt early on, so you don't have to worry about that threat as much, at least not early. And, a highly concentrated volume team. Harold Fannin, Bowling Green, just stud. If Njoku goes down, he could be a boost. He could still play like the power slot. Like there's still a lot of opportunity in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And it's why I usually like to leave myself at least one tight end later. Didn't work out for this draft, but just saying.
By the way, assistant was recommending Kareem Hunt as the pick there. And like, I do think Kareem Hunt is going to get work for the Chiefs. Like, people don't realize coaches love giving the ball to Kareem Hunt. He is going to get carries this year. He's going to get short yardage. He might get some goal line, I think. So I get it from that perspective on Kareem Hunt. It's just so hard to find any upside whatsoever. He's going to average like 3 yards per carry and catch very few balls. So
yeah,
nobody wants him. His ADP is like 180, and we're at 2 something. Nobody wants him.
Yeah, slightly different draft rooms. The people who are drafting Kareem Hunt at the 180s versus the 555s. I think what's interesting. Okay, well, I was just about to say we mentioned Sean Tucker like 3 times, and no one's bought the bullet there.
Yeah, there's one more running back that I'm okay with in this range that I don't think has gone. We need one more running back, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we're at 5 right now. I think 6 is a good spot for us.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a wide receiver 2 on a team that hasn't been drafted. He's probably talking about Josh Reynolds, right? I mean, that's like the running joke is that Josh Reynolds goes undrafted despite being the wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I put a tweet out yesterday referencing that. I think that's he's less than 10% owned in the BBM. Okay, we are up.
Yeah, so the running back that I take here is if there's, I don't even love it, but there's not that much left. It's Jarquez Hunter, and yeah, we have him there second. I'd be fine with Corum too. I don't know if you have a preference there. I think of Corum as the direct backup to Kyren and Jarquez as a change of pace, but yeah.
Is there a wide receiver that we wanted to grab? Because I don't know. I
think last round wide receiver probably.
Yeah. We could do the Menon guy.
I think Menon guy could be zeros.
Okay. I mean, all these can. Yeah. I'm down with Hunter.
Yeah.
Corum.
I don't know how they feel about Corum, honestly, but I think it would be some type of committee if Kyren were to go down. But I think Jarquez has like actual juice that
boost. Yep.
Yeah. So you think wide receiver here on this last one, right?
AJ Brown, JSN, Calvin Ridley, Chris Olave, Khalil Shakir, Wandale, Horton, Knoll. Assume that Horton and Knoll are zeros. Wandale's going to give you some points, and then we're looking at these 5. Like, you could convince me with how bad the wide receivers that are available that a running back is more likely to kind of break out and hit our lineup. You could convince me that Russell Wilson is actually the right play for this team.
I don't have many more running backs on my list that I'm interested in. I guess you could do the Menon guy thing, but God.
Yeah. Honestly, I've done Corum and Jarquez to end drafts and just say it's a bet on like Kyren getting hurt.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a wide receiver left that I do take. There might be 2 wide receivers left that I do take late ahead of our rank.
I mean, yeah. Malik, I'm good with. Dontavian Wicks, Jordan Whittington. There's the Ayamener.
Yeah. So the 3 that
we are up.
Okay, 3 that I take are Ayo Minor, Tesla, or Malik Washington. I think all 3 of those are fine round 20 picks, whatever you like best out of Ayo Minor, Malik, or Tesla.
Okay, Tesla's gone.
We have Ridley. It's a decent bet on the offense. I kind of think Ayo Minor.
Okay, I like it too.
There's been some reports, and we moved a little bit in ranking today. There's been some reports of Ayo Minor working ahead of Tyler Lockett. I don't know how sticky that is, but we did shift a little bit towards Ayo Minor here today.
Yeah, and I was bullish on him before the draft. Obviously, didn't get the draft capital that we were hoping, but pretty solid prospect. So I don't hate that as well. And I think Like, so the Malik Washington, if Tyreek gets traded or is hurt, I think there's a chance that he could actually get a lot of that around the scrimmage type usage. Um, I'm my concern is increasing by the day on the just Dolphins offensive line in general. It does not
Yeah.
sound good. And this could just be a broken offense again. Now
Yeah.
that can still work for someone like Achan, but I'm just kind of baking that into my overall
Agreed. And yeah,
assumptions.
I don't think it's crazy to think Tyreek is not going to last a season on this team. And so if he doesn't, Malik Washington in round 20 is going to look, I think, pretty decent. And I do take Malik Washington. So yeah, I think that's interesting for sure. But yeah, I think, two big points for me off this team, which, is not typically the way that I make teams would be. I don't normally take elite quarterback on DraftKings. You see the trouble that it gets you in like round 10, round 9 and 10 there. And then obviously we got ourselves in a mess with the Evan Ingram pick kind of funneling us into 3 tight ends there. So yeah, probably not the favorite that I'll do, but I'll be in about 20 of these 555s. Hopefully I've done, I think 8 so far, and maybe I'll squeeze one through for $1 million, Herzig, and then I can never go on YouTube again.
Hey, when I was a Jaden Reed catch away, you told me I was full of shit that I was gonna leave the best ball world if I won that millie. So we know you'd be back.
Buddy, I've seen your lifestyle. $1 million's not enough. You're gonna need a lot more than $1 million to keep living the high life in Florida out there.
All right, let me see if I can pull up our draft report here. We can do a little review.
If anybody wants to put some player names in the chat, I'm happy to tell you how much I have of a guy. I have my best ball explorer up right now. But yeah, that's the draft report from the assistant that Herzig just put up.
All right. Yeah, so this is, let's see. I do think our big, I don't know, mistake, but like leverage point that is that Jalen Hurts pick.
Yeah.
And we kind of both discussed it. It went against our grain to don't usually go elite QB, but I think this draft could have turned out very differently. Probably would have been a 3 QB, 3 tight end, not reaching on those tight ends. But once we took that Hurts, it really shifted.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And elite quarterback is hard to make work on DraftKings. And like sometimes guys like Hurts or Jaden on DraftKings can really last a long time all the way to the way back. And that's when I get more of them. But I'm not as worried about correlation, which is another reason that, the elite quarterback stuff isn't as strong. But
yeah. And the other thing, we kind of picked it out. We picked it out during the draft, but when that Lamar, Burrow, McCarthy drafter, when you have someone who's getting Lamar is then getting another semi-elite QB and then another in that next range, it starts putting the pressure. And this room really started feeling the pressure. Rodgers winning, I think it was the 15th round, whenever so did Darnold and Anthony Richardson. So you got to be careful not to get caught. I think Adam was very sharp to say, hey, we need to take Sam Darnold here. If we didn't take that Sam Darnold,
yeah,
I don't know.
We'd have had like Jalen Hurts and
Jackson and Russ
Wilson.
Yeah, with a Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson double tap like ugly. Yeah, so that was a sharp pick up there, but you just got to be careful. And in these drafting rooms, it's why in those rounds 9, 10, 11, 12, 9, 10, 11, really, I love to grab 2 QBs. Don't feel bad about going 3 straight if I need to.
Yeah. Okay. Appreciate everyone being here. I'll stick on to give my take on to give how much I have of these guys. I said that I would, but if you guys have not yet checked out the draft kit, check that out on EstablishTheRun.com. A best ball product is also on there as well. You're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button on YouTube. It's totally free. We are grinding to an absolute nub with so many videos. We're talking about 5, 6 a week, and you'll be notified if you had subscribed there when we come out with a new one. All right, Herzig, I have my Best Ball Explorer up here on the other screen. Why don't you just give me the names and I'll tell people how much I have of them, and let's do like 8 of them before we got to get out of here.
Okay. I'm seeing Brandon Ayuk.
0.6%.
And his ADP, I mean, like, it's just going to keep falling. O'Marion Hampton.
God, not enough, man. 3.9%.
I remember when this Najee like fireworks thing happened, I was drafting like a whole bunch of Omarion, just trying to get like that little value. It was
Yeah,
a fun couple days.
I know. I actually have 10% exposure on a Marion Hampton, but 3.9 in fees. So I'm okay on exposure, but fees only 3.9.
Okay. Let's go here. You talked about him earlier. Let's get Addison.
Yeah, Addison, I don't have as much as I thought I did either. 8.3 exposure, 8.1 in fees.
So I think that's sharp because if you want to get that up, like now's the time to
Yeah,
do it. It
I do
wasn't
want it. I
comfortable
do
to be
want to get it up.
drafting
Yeah,
Addison earlier. And so you just got to say, like, even though I want to be overweight, I'm not going to take him at a bad value, but now I'm going to hammer.
I know. I underestimate the field with like this is already baked in, but now you can get him around later. You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
never baked in. Here's an interesting one. Diggs.
Diggs, 10.8 exposure, 4.2% fees.
Okay.
I mean, the videos of Diggs are, I mean, he looks awesome, but
Yeah. But I saw some report this morning
about a
that
gate. Somebody said, yeah, I watched it. I didn't see any gate. I didn't see any hitch in his gate.
there was that. And then I also saw like week one's in question. I need to look more into that. But
Week one's in question. He's been full blast in OTAs for like months. What do you mean week one's in question?
he's been full blast in a lot of things this offseason. Cortland Sutton.
7.5 exposure, 8.6 in fees. I like based on our rank, I should have more, but I was just like, you know what, man, I'm going to take Pickens. I'm going to take Jameson. I'm going to take Flowers ahead of Sutton. And I think Sutton's fine. I also think that the Broncos are going to play really good defense this season and get into some kind of lowish scoring games.
And one more. What better person to end on? Tyler Warren.
I wish I had more. 10% on both for Tyler Warren. We were a little bit behind on rank for a while, and that was on us. But I feel like we have his rank in a good spot now for Tyler Warren.
His is tough because we're still trying to middle the Daniel Jones, Anthony Richardson.
Right.
But if you knew one of those two were the QB, it's probably a 2 to 2+ round difference, like in which way it would go.
Yeah. Let me just answer this before we end. My highest exposure in terms of exposure, not fees, exposure is Pickens is my highest, then Chase Brown, Marshawn Lloyd, De'Ami Brown, Shaheed, Olave, Barkley, Algier. For fees, my highest is Olave, then Pickens, Ridley, Tootin, Dak, Jameson Williams, Aaron Jones, Rashid Shaheed, Kate Otten, A.D. Mitchell, De'Ami Brown, Chase Brown. So
can we real quick, like, I don't I mean, like it's not a fun topic to discuss because it's like the top of the draft, but the Saquon Barkley situation that's been going on this year and the fact that like we are so over, I don't know. I'm like over
even
the market on him.
Yeah. Well, even in DFS last year, like no one was even playing Saquon. I was like, I'm gonna play Saquon in cash this week, guys. Like, I don't know. And like, it's just like nobody was playing Saquon even in DFS. There's like something about this that people don't want to just be like, he's maybe the best running back in the world, one of them, behind the best offensive line. Like, great scheme. Let's not overthink it. So yeah, I have a lot of Saquon also, especially on Underdog. I have a ton of Saquon.
Yeah, I'm looking on Underdog. He is my second highest owned running back.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy for a number.
For a first round
taking
pick.
him basically number 2 to number 4, number 5. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. All right. This was fun. I think we should wrap it here. Herzig, you can do your normal outro here.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. First off, thank you very much for joining us. And we only have like 2 or 3 weeks left until the season. We have done some fantastic streams. This is the 4th, I believe, DraftKings one that's on the public channel. So if you haven't checked out the previous ones, we had some great guests there as well. Also, for subscribers, every Thursday at 2. If you don't see it public, it's because we're doing it behind the paywall. For subscribers, you can still join that. I will be back next week as well until the rest of the season. These have been so much fun, and chat, you all have been amazing. Appreciate, Adam, for you joining us. Obviously, you can catch us both on Twitter, and producer Ryan behind the scenes. Play that graphic. Let's go.